Yes, I know. Negative thumbnail. But I'm not a fan. I'm not going to lie. So, we got to talk about this blood and guts stuff. Hello and welcome to FTTR, I'm Ian McQuaid, and today we are talking about AEW Blood and Guts. In particular, we're talking about the announcement of the men's Blood and Guts match, which was made official on Dynamite. Now, before we dive into this, please subscribe, please like this video, please comment your thoughts down below and I'll try to reply to every single one of them as we dive into this. My overall thoughts on this, I'm not a fan, as you can probably tell from the thumbnail. The reason for this, so it was announced, and you know what? I've got to say this. Let me just get the match graphic up so I remember everyone who is in the goddamn match, because there's a lot of people. Okay, I've got the graphic up. So the match was made official that it's going to be the Death Riders taking on Darby Allin, Roderick Strong, and the Conglomeration. That's fine. That's fine with me. I can accept that as a match. The reason I'm not a fan of this, and I do think the match is going to be very good, I feel like this is once again shortchanging the women's division, because the AEW women's division started the build for Blood and Guts. It was Jamie Hayter who announced that she wanted, the Triangle of Madness in Blood and Guts, and that I thought that was going to be the only one. I thought that was going to be the only Blood and Guts match we get, but it seems we're going to get two. Now, the reason I'm not a fan of that is because it feels like, to me, it feels quite transparent that maybe they don't have the confidence in the women's division and their star power to draw for the Blood and Guts match, but I don't think you need two. I think you just need the one, the big headliner marquee, and have it be the women's match, because the women have been building this for a hell of a long time. The sort of Tekla Jamie Hayter stuff has been going on for a long time, and now it's just going to be overshadowed by this. I don't think it needed to happen. Now, I know that promotions, particularly WWE, have stipulations that go across both, genders. That's the word I was looking for. Both divisions. And they have things like the Royal Rumble. They have things like Money in the Bank that, are annual things. But the difference with those, to me anyway, is that they have ramifications going forward. If you win Royal Rumble, then you get to fight for a title at WrestleMania. It makes sense to do two of them to an extent. I'm not necessarily a fan of doing two of them, because it does feel oversaturated, but it makes sense because you get something out of it. The thing with Blood and Guts in AEW is no team has ever got anything out of winning one. They're more just blow-offs to feuds, and in that, it makes it feel less special. It makes it feel more redundant, because it's not like, for instance, the Owen Hart tournament, which makes sense to have two divisions doing it. Makes sense to have a men's and a women's. Blood and Guts doesn't make sense to have two. I'm sorry, it just doesn't make sense to have two other than ratings, and we don't trust the women to draw the numbers that we want for the show. I would say to that, have more faith in your women's division, because like I said, they've been building it really well. I think it's been a very well established feud, this Triangle of Madness stuff. This didn't need to happen, and I think that's where my main issue lies, is that yes, I think it's going to be very good, it's going to be very gory, it's going to be very violent, but it seems transparent, and it seems like it was done as a ratings move. And for me, people are probably going to get a huge kick out of watching Blood and Guts, both the men's and the women's. But to me, I like things to feel special, and for the most part, AEW has let things feel special. They've let things be one-offs. They do the Continental Classic once a year. They do what's the word? I'm completely blanking on the stipulation that they have. What's it called? Not Blood and Guts, not the Owen Hart. It's gone. It's never coming back. What was I thinking of? I don't know. Anarchy in the Arena. They usually do that once a year. That was what I was thinking of. They usually do that once a year, and they keep that feeling special. But I think having 2 Blood and Guts match, particularly if it's going to be on one show, it looks like it's all going to be on Dynamite. I don't think one's going to be relegated to Collision. If it is, maybe I'd accept it a little bit more. But at the same time, they're going to overshadow one another, and I don't think that makes sense long term. I think you should have kept this to one and let it be the women's, because the women can't seem to get stuff first. I think that's the big issue here, is that they don't get to stand on their own. AEW doesn't seem to have the confidence to push the women's division right to the forefront without it seemingly having some sort of crutch in case it doesn't do well, and sort of bolstering it up like having 2 Blood and Guts matches. And that to me sucks, because to me that feels like we're never going to get things like a women's Continental Classic, for instance, or a women's Anarchy in the Arena, because you'll always have sort of the men overshadowing that. And I think that sucks. I think this really should be one. This should really be the women's Blood and Guts match. That should be the big marquee. That should be what you're promoting. I don't think the men's Blood and Guts match needs to happen. What I would do instead, if it was me, I would have just blown this Derby feud off at the I Quit match. I don't think it needed to continue, so I would have just had that be the end of it. But if I was even going to continue it, there's other stipulations you could do. You could do like a ladder war or something like that, something that we've not really seen, like a 10-person teamed ladder match, for instance, would be something new. It'd be something fun. It'd be something crazy. You could do. I'm shocked we haven't gone back to the exploding barbed wire death match. You don't want 10 people doing that, but you could always do an exploding barbed wire death match between Mox and Darby Allin. I think that would be insane, but I think they're too scared to go back to that well. There are other things that draw other than Blood and Guts if you did need to bolster the women's one, which you don't. So on the whole, I just think that it was unnecessary. What more can I say? I think it's unnecessary, and I think AEW should have let the women just take the forefront of this show. But I want to know what you guys think down in the comments below. Are you a fan of this? Are you looking forward to the match? Don't get me wrong, I am looking forward to the match. I think it's going to be very fun. I just could have done without it. What more can I say? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and I'll try to reply to every single one of them. Thank you all ever so much for your support, and have a nice day.